What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to show you how to convert this shower into this amazing shower. The beautiful thing about the Castico shower system versus basically every other shower system out there is that you just have to install your drywall and then you have to only waterproof your corners. Because the panels are so big, let's say this entire wall, that panel is going to take up the whole wall. There's absolutely no way that the water itself can get through the panel. For tile, you have to do that because you have grout lines and the water could get through the grout lines and then go onto your drywall. But for us, we don't have to do that. So the only places that we're actually waterproofing is our corners and then the seam itself. So we're going to use this Guru water stop banding. That's a 6-inch banding, and then we're going to thin set it into the corners. What you want to make sure inside here is that you're going above the shower head. Remember I said how 85 inches is going to be about here for us? So we're installing our banding just below that. This way our panels cover it, but at the same time we don't have to mess around with this when we're talking about finishing the top of our shower. So what we're going to use is an 1/8-inch trowel, 1/8-inch by 1/8-inch trowel, and then we're going to just use regular thin set. For us, we're using Multimax Light. This thin set is the easiest thin set for when you're doing any sort of banding work. So we're going to put banding into our vertical corners, our horizontal seam here, and then we're also going to just waterproof the bottom right here. And that will conclude everything we need to do for prep for this shower before we start to install our Castico system. Let's start prepping. So now that we have our shower corners prepped, what we went ahead and did is created a floor template. So this is a template that's going to go inside our shower here, and our floor pan is actually 36 inches wide. So what we did is we started with 36-inch strips. We put them on angles on both sides, and then we measured our sides. We are going to have to cut down. Our shower, just like I'm sure your shower, is just not exactly perfect square, or rectangle, so we did have to adjust it a little bit, and that's exactly why you do need to make a template. So let me show you how you make a template, and then I'll bring you outside and show you how to cut it. Alright, so we went outside, got our pan out, we put our template, traced the template off. So now, basically, if I make this cut, and you can see how out of square our shower was, which is kind of crazy. So now what we have to do is basically, this is exactly what we need for our shower install, right? But what we have to consider and incorporate is now these flanges. So these are plastic flanges that go in. They kind of go in like this. In here that we have to screw in, and that's what makes this entire thing kind of waterproof on the sides, so nothing goes out. We have to pre-drill some holes, but you see that there's a little bit of thickness there. It's a 3/16 space that we have to basically consider here. So this thing is 3/16, and because I did my template before I did my banding, it means the banding added a little bit to it. What I'm going to do is basically add a 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go here. And anytime you measure like this, it's nice to just use it's harder to measure 1/4 of an inch like this. It's a little tip there for you. So I'm gonna go right here, and then I'm gonna add a 1/4 of an inch here, basically from our mark. Then I'm going to add 1/4 of an inch there. Then I'm gonna use my level here, and then trace this off. Excuse the shadow. It's only 4 o'clock, guys. It's not that late, but we live up north, so things get dark pretty quick here. So that is actually the line that I will be cutting, and will give me space for that. In the back, you don't have to do it. So we really have to just cut down our sides 3/16. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing on this side and then make my cuts. So you see this edge right here. For us, when you break it off, you do want to clean this up. And even better, what I'm going to do is the very bottom edge, I'm going to just miter down just a little bit, so that as we're coming down between our walls, I want to make sure that I have a little bit of that kind of like roundness to help us come down the wall and not get caught on that drywall. So I'm just going to come in here. I'm just going to clean that up just a little bit. So now as we're installing these flanges, what you want to make sure is that I put a 1/4 inch lower mark right here from the top, and that's basically where this is going to go, like that. So this lines up with it, and then I'm letting this part right here be flat with it, so then the next one overlaps it. And you do want to basically leave this 1/4 inch so that when you caulk it, you can put a bunch of silicone inside this crack right here to make it really, really strong. So we have that on both sides. It's flush over here. They do provide little screws right here. They're self-tapping screws. And we're just gonna go a couple screws on this side and then do the same on the other side. So now we brought our pan with our flanges into our bathroom itself. And because we are relocating this drain from the old one, I'm going to install this first and then plumb into it versus having everything plumbed in right away. But this is the type of drain that you're going to need to get. Lowe's or Home Depot, any big box store, even a small box store might sell these. And the way that this works, essentially, is that this piece with a bunch of silicone is going to go on the inside right here, like that. And then this is going to go on this side right here. And we just need to make sure that this sits in nice inside there. And for that, we are going to use a nice 4-inch hole saw bit to drill that in, and that will give us exactly that hole. So now we can take a look at this. You see that we have that pitch that we need down to our shower. This level is way too big for that one. We have our pitch there, and we have our pitch there as well. There is one very important step that I did forget to film in the video, and that is to make sure that your subfloor is perfectly level. If it's not, then you want to do some self-leveling or any way that you could fix the level of your subfloor. For us, that wasn't an issue, so I never even thought about mentioning that in the video, but you want to make sure your subfloor is nice and level. Then you install your shower pan, and then the next day you come in and install your shower walls. So we are done with our shower pan. The silicone is fresh on the perimeter, and the thin set behind underneath the pan is also fresh. So I don't want to work on it right now. I'm going to come back tomorrow and start to install our wall boards. See you tomorrow. And it's the next day. So now we have shower panels that we have to install, and we have two sets. So basically here we have our side walls. That's why this box is a little bit bigger. So this is the 36 by 84 side walls. And then we have our 30 by 84 back wall. So this is that big back wall that has to go in the middle. And the orientation of this does matter because the veining does match up. So basically this is A, B, C, D install, where each panel has to go exactly where it is. So let's go in here, and then we will just basically assign to our walls exactly which panel goes where. And it really doesn't matter which way you go and start. So for us, we're just going to go in order. This is going to be our panel A, B, C, and then D. So now what I'm going to do is start on my back wall, find the center, and then off of my center, measure to 3 points to make sure that I cut it in within 1/4 of an inch. We're going to do our panel B and C, and then we're going to cut in our D and A panel after that. So this is our center of the wall, and as you guys can see, our perfect measurement is 29.5, but my side panels are 1/2 inch thick. All these panels are 1/2 inch thick, so there is a bit of wiggle room to play. Definitely do not cut it 29.5. So what we're going to do is just basically cut it 29, and we're going to pull it back a little bit off of that wall, so then when we put this panel, it can cover it. Because of the banding and compounding and things that we have to do there is a little bit of that variation in the wall. So measure off of here, go cut this piece, and then come back, and then after you install it, cut this piece. This way you for sure know that you have the right measurement. Don't try to do this piece and this piece at the same time and then try to install it. Do one at a time, slow and steady, kind of wins the race. So now that we have our measurements, we're gonna go outside and I'll show you how to cut. So inside we have our panels laid out A, B, C, D. This first panel that we pulled off is panel B. And you know that by when we stand this up, it says B and it shows which way's up. So this is the top of our panel, and then this is going to be our bottom. And then over here, you see it says cut this side only, cut this side only. So for us, this is that side that we're cutting off. So I have 29 and about 1/4 actually I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to come in here, measure 29.25. Vanya, hold this. So I'm going to go here, measure 29.25. And make a mark. Now go here, 29.25, make a mark. This stuff is very shiny, so the pencil will wipe off. So what I'm going to do actually is put some blue tape as my guideline. So 29.25 all the way down here, and one more here at the end, and do 29.25. I'm going to make a blue tape line. Watch this. So before we install the panel itself, don't forget to silicone the top of that flange. Again, just that clear silicone, you're going to put that in there. And once the panel actually goes up, it pushes up against it, it will kind of press that piece in. But that's all you have to do, just a little piece of silicone at the top. All right, so now what we're going to be doing is troweling out our wall, back buttering our pan itself, and then installing it. Let's do it. So I am going to use suction cups, because with these suction cups, it's going to be just really easy for me to hold this as even one person. If you try and get your hands around it, it's just going to become really messy, and this will be kind of slippery on the back. I will have these suction cups linked down below for you guys to take a look at them. These are RUBI suction cups. kind of cheap, but very, I wouldn't say cheap, inexpensive, but very good quality suction cups. This is the same suction cups that we were using to pick up our pan. So now I can pick this up and then go ahead and bring that inside the shower. Then what I'm going to do is I do have a vibrator. We're also going to have that linked down below. I'm not going to link this one because this one I can't find anymore, but I do have a RUBI vibrator that's amazing. So we're going to go and put this on 1 speed and then just very gently run over it. And the same thing with the RUBI vibrator, it does have a suction cup that's part of it as well. So if you do want to grab it and move it somewhere, you could do that. All right, so our Castico shower walls are done, and we do have these cargo bars that are just kind of holding everything in place while it's curing up. These are big pieces. The thin set on the back of it does kind of catch it and bend it out because some of them do have a little bit of that warp, which is fine on a material that's not extremely thick. If you guys look right here, the material is not extremely thick, so you will have a little bit of that natural kind of warp. So the thin set does take it, but these just help to really hold it in place. So honestly, I have, what, 4 in here? I wish I had one more to kind of hold this spot in the middle. So I think for us, as we do more and more of these Castico shower systems, I'm gonna have like 10 of these just in case, all over the place. So we're gonna let this cure up. Then when we come back tomorrow, we're going to do the niche and then kind of finish up the walls. I'll see you tomorrow. So it's the next day, our walls are all set. So now what we're gonna be working on is installing our Castico prefabbed niche. And this is the easiest niche to install that's out there. What I do want to make sure though is our shower walls here, I'm gonna put this niche on the other side of the wall. I don't want to put it really close to it. It's not like they recommend it, just in my personal preference is to put it as far away from water as we can. The way that it installs is we're literally going to cut out a square or rectangle. Then on the back side here, we have a double-sided tape that we're going to take off. And then literally just insert it in and tape that in there. And then we're going to just silicone around it. This thing right here is 100% waterproof. Once all that silicone's in there, that tape's in there, that thing's gonna be 100% waterproof as well. But this piece that we're going to take out of here, I'm gonna do, you could do it just like this, leave it just as is, but I'm gonna try to kind of have a little more fun with it. And I'm going to take that piece that we cut out and then cut it inside here and put it in the back of the niche. It actually looks really, really cool. It has this kind of cool look to it because you'll see this vein more or less continue through it, but at the same time, there's gonna be a little bit of that dark accent of the metal itself. So this right here should take us less than an hour to do from start to finish. It's hands down the simplest way that you can add a shower niche in here. And the best part about it, and why this is gonna work here, is there's no grout lines for any of that water to get behind this niche. So it's literally just gonna go on the surface, hit that silicone, and then just go out. There's no way that any water can get in the back of here, and that's why this works. Let's do it. So what we're going to use here is a dry cutting wheel, a vacuum setup, and basically as I'm cutting this, I'm just going to hold my vacuum right underneath it and try to collect as much of that dust as I can, and that's pretty much the best way that you can cut this out. So because we have a 2x6 wall, we're still ending up with a decent amount of insulation back there. If you have a 2x4 wall, what I would suggest then is getting a 1-inch piece of reflective foam insulation and then putting that back there, and it'll be just fine. Cutting out this little piece, even if you have a piece of like a stud in there, it's not going to compromise your house. Us notching into the stud like this, you're gonna be okay. Like, don't overthink this. So now let's dry fit this and see how this looks. Bang. Look at that. So this is dry fit. We still got to take the tape off, but I'm getting a little bit of insulation fighting me. I don't want that. So I'm just gonna tuck some of that insulation in a little bit. And then I just want to make sure that I'm not hitting the stud. Insulation we can deal with. It's that stud is what I don't want. So I want to make sure that, boom, that sits nice like that. Then we're gonna get a little level, because once you put that double-sided tape on there, once it's on there, it's on there. So I'm gonna get a little level here, and then put this in, and then we can work on cutting out the middle. So the very last thing we have to do in here is I'm siliconing the inside here. And for me, I feel pretty confident enough in my siliconing skills where I'm just doing this freehand. If you don't, definitely tape it off. So give some blue tape and then come off like 1/8 of an inch away from that grout line. Tape it off. You could tape it inside here as well. And then you can kind of apply your silicone. For us, I think we're doing a decent enough job here freehand. Some of these little boogers that might be here, we're just gonna let for this to dry, and then we'll be able to just kind of come in there and clean it up a little bit. Just like that. Last one. Boom. Look how good this looks. This right here, literally, from start to end took us an hour. So an hour to do a niche is incredible. Typically, if you were to tile a niche, you're looking at a full day of work if you want to make it look anything close to how nice this looks. Again, you don't need to put the back in. I think it looks way nicer because then you can say like, oh, look at the grout line or like the veins and everything continuing through. And when you step back a little bit, it just has that wow factor to it as well. So this right here is how you do a Castico shower niche. I highly recommend it because this thing is sick. So the very last thing that we have to do inside our shower is silicone our corners here. And what I'm gonna be using is clear silicone, but there are two types of silicones, clear silicones out there. One is crystal clear that you can actually see through, and one is clear, but it's actually hazy and it's a little bit kind of like that murky color. That's the one that we're actually gonna use because I do have a bit of a gap here, like a little crack here and things like that. I just want that to blend in, so I don't want to put crystal clear silicone in there. I'm just gonna put semi-clear in there. And also because silicone does get really messy and sticky, what I am going to do is tape off my joints. And the way I'm going to do it is basically go about 1/8 of an inch away, kind of like that. Go 1/8 of an inch away from that seam on the bottom, and then at the same time, I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch. It's a little hard to run it slow. 1/8 of an inch away from the top, just like that as well. So then I'll drag my silicone in there, scrape it, well, smooth it out, and then be able to take that out. So that's kind of the process. It's pretty straightforward. We just have to do that all the way around. Same thing in here. I'm going to put tape on both sides. This way I can kind of smush that silicone into that seam, and that will be done and then we just got to install the glass door, and this shower is done. Look, I already installed the valve. Look how nice that looks. All right, let's finish this up. So our Castico shower system is complete. This entire bathroom remodel took us a week. If you are doing just tub to shower conversion, you're literally looking at like 12 hours of work, which is insane. So we do have a 36 by 60 white shower pan, and we have 4 walls that we installed, and then first ever niche. And that niche right there, it looks amazing. If you can see the veins continuing through it, we did that by design. It literally took 45 minutes to do it. If you do want to see separately how to install the niche, I do have a video right here for you. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more about these systems and the hundreds of designs they have for your floor and for your walls, press the link in the description and go check it out. This stuff is pretty affordable and very easy to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.